from Upper Michigan's news source. This is your TV6 Early News.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. Caffeine addiction is one of those addictions that many people overlook. Is it really that bad, and how hard would it be to quit? Recently, a Northern Michigan University student, Lucy Erber, turned her final English paper into somewhat of a life experiment. She made public on social media her struggles with quitting caffeine cold turkey. That experiment now has since gone viral, and she joins us live in the studio with more. Lucy, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So we'll get this out of the way right away. Clearly, obviously, caffeine. So this experiment didn't last, but it definitely was an experiment. How did it all start? I heard it was a class project for you.
Yes, it was. All semester, my class had us read a book called My Life is an Experiment. And it gave me an idea for my final project. We had to conduct an experiment of our own, and I realized how much caffeine I was drinking daily. Starbucks, Monsters, NOS. I mean, clearly I'm an addict.
No coffee, no worky. For our viewers at home, that's what that says. So, perfect shirt. So basically you tried giving it up and you had to document it, write it down?
Yeah.
And I can't imagine that was easy. I get a headache right away when I don't have one. So how did it feel for you giving it up?
It was horrible. Honestly, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done.
So I read your full story, and I really like this one part where you said you were walking through the halls and everybody was holding their Starbucks cups, and you wanted to basically steal their coffee. Would you read it for us?
Sure. I get to school and it seems as if every single person I walk past is carrying a Starbucks cup. These urges to grab someone's cup of coffee and run are becoming insurmountable. After my back-to-back classes, I desperately needed a snack, so I headed to the vending machines. Naturally, next to the snacks were the drinks, the caffeinated drinks. 3 glorious rows of Mountain Dew and Pepsi. Does Mountain Dew count as a caffeinated drink?
Yes.
I pondered to myself. I mean, it doesn't say caffeine on it, I think, trying to justify my actions. But I quickly reconsider and hit the coin return. I take my cheddar jalapeno Cheetos and walk very quickly to my next class.
Oh, what a sad visual. It's very sad. So just one of the funny portions. I think one of the reasons that your story went viral is because you actually documented this all on social media when you were dealing with these withdrawals. Let's roll the tape.
I'm outside Starbucks. It has been 2 weeks since any caffeine. The temptation and anxiety is building. That's it, going in. I did it, and it was worth it.
So can you describe some of the physical symptoms for us? What were you feeling in that video?
Severe headaches, severe mood swings for sure. Fatigue, it was awful. It really proves that it is a drug, just the legal kind.
Right, absolutely. It's definitely legal, but still a drug. So $1 million question, you're clearly back to drinking caffeine. Is it any different than it was before the experiment?
I mean, the side effects are pretty much the same, but I'm a lot more conscious of it now.
Okay.
But I'm still drinking it.
As we speak. So what is your drink at Starbucks? What do you got?
Usually at Starbucks, it's a venti iced caramel macchiato with 2 extra shots of espresso and some chai. But it really got to the point now to where they just stick the cup underneath the espresso machine and they just let it keep going until the cup is full.
Oh my goodness.
So no one really knows.
So a lot of caffeine still.
A lot of caffeine still.
Is there any advice, Lucy, that you could offer? Say our viewers at home are wondering, you know, I actually want to quit caffeine. What advice could you offer them? What's some of the research that you did?
Well, some of the benefits that really stood out to me in my research were
I know you had a couple of different things.
Right. Well, the negative effects were insomnia, increased risk of migraines, and I think infertility too.
Yes.
So that's not cool.
I've heard that in some women. I think that's why pregnant women aren't supposed to drink caffeinated coffee. But I tell myself this on a daily basis. I've read in your story, which made me feel better about myself, that there's some positive side effects to drinking a little bit of coffee.
Yeah, in moderation, coffee is actually great for protecting against liver and colon cancer.
Okay.
Right. And Alzheimer's.
I can justify that. So basically everything in moderation.
In moderation.
Seems like
for sure
what you learned. So how about the money? Because, you know, it is expensive. I've heard of the latte factor, and you kind of touched on that in your piece. What were you spending every day?
Usually on a normal day, it was about $8 just for my coffee. That's not including the Monsters and all the energy drinks and Mountain Dews that I would buy throughout my day.
Right.
But the latte factor actually is you count up all the money that you have saved over the years. Yeah, and I actually did the math, and it says that I would save about $2,900 in 1 year.
Wow, that's a nice
and that's on a normal day.
Right, because say you're studying late. I'm guilty of this in college, grad school. I sometimes went back to the coffee shop and they're like, oh, you're here again.
Plus, I'm lucky and there's Starbucks on campus, right next to the library.
That was probably awful for your experiment.
Awful.
But lucky in life. Well, Lucy, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
If you would like to see Lucy's full story, she does have all those videos still online, and you can find a link to that on our website. So Lucy, My Decaffeinated Journey, a great read. What's next for you? Where are you going next? Are you going to talk on campus maybe?
Sure. Yeah, just whatever offers I get.
Very cool. Yeah, I know we've had some people contact us and say, can we meet her? We need a little advice. It's kind of hard to quit, especially
very hard to quit
cold turkey.
I personally don't recommend it. Just be conscious of your intake.
All right, good advice, sound advice. Thank you so much, Lucy.
Thank you.
Yes, if you'd like to read her full story again, that's on our website.